Hey guys, so I know I haven't posted or made a video in a while, and it's a big old long story, and it's a big old long, nah, I don't want to say drama, it's not like a drama, but it's a big old long thing of like how slammed I am at work. And partly those things. But one of the good things is that I now work weekends, so on breaks I can like make videos and stuff. At least I'm working weekends for the summer. But anyway, so the other night I felt like watching the Grand Hotel. Grand Hotel. It's this new show on ABC. I wanted to watch like something trashy, something Danielle Steele like or Jackie Collins like to give my mind off crap because things have been a little bit stressful lately. And I watched it and it was okay. I don't know. Sometimes I just think it's better if you watch it without commercials. But I also think I'm gonna have to go back and watch the first episode because I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, and this guy, it's so funny. I interviewed him at some celebrity function, but I totally forget his name. He was a soap opera actor on a daytime soap. Now I guess it's an evening soap. And this lady right here, she was on Devious Maids, which I totally love. Now that was a good ass show. I love that show. It's so suspenseful. So I was hoping Grand Hotel on ABC would be the same way. But alas and unfortunately, so far it has not kicked its game. But that being said, it got me thinking about Danielle Steele and how much I really, really enjoy Danielle Steele novels. And the funny thing is that I read my first Danielle Steele novel and I expected it to be all scandalous and just women dripping in jewels and dripping in sex sweat and all this other kind of stuff, just kind of like these devious maid ladies right here. But Danielle Steele novels are actually much more about redemption and people going through hard times, especially women, and then finding their way out of those hard times. So Danielle Steele is really, really enjoyable, and the books have heart. But it was kind of funny because I was thinking the other day about how much I enjoyed my first Danielle Steele book that I read. And my first Danielle Steele book that I read was entitled Malice, and it was so good. It was so suspenseful. It's about this girl who grows up in this totally abusive household, and then she makes her way out. She finds her way out. She works at a woman's shelter, and then, total redemption, which I know is kind of a candy-ass, general thing to talk about. But anyway, it's about redemption and it's so good, and she goes to prison and everything. So it's got prison scenes and just not a lot of glitz and glamour and, guys with no shirts on and these things. Because it wasn't all women in prison. I mean, that's part of it. But in any case, so it got me thinking about Danielle Steele. And it got me kind of reminiscing about the book, Malice. But come to find out, this was my first Mandela effect about it, because I always remember it being spelled Danielle Steele. Danielle Steele, with an E at the end of it. Steele, collection, Walmart. So somebody's actually still spelling it that way. We've got right here Danielle Steele's eccentric, I don't know, I can't see. It's Danielle Steele's eccentric personal life has sent the internet into a meltdown. And this is the UK Independent. So they have fact checkers there. The UK Independent, folks. And they're misspelling it here. Let's see what else we've got. We've got Much Married Celebs. Danielle Steele, 5 husbands. And then we've got an expose about Danielle Steele on ABC News, of all things. 5 surprising things you didn't know about Danielle Steele. But, as we can see here, that's not how she spells it. But a lot of people still spell it that way online. Danielle Steele talks about couture Kristen Dior dress she will never wear. Yeah, she'll never wear it because she doesn't exist. And of course, there's also a lot of lore about how has Danielle Steele written all these hundreds of books? Now, of course, a lot of people think that certain authors have ghostwriters or that they have help or that it's just the name that they put to the face and that it's really some, Chinese monkeys in the back of a laundromat writing these books. I don't know. But the funny thing is it cracks me up because it makes me think, well, maybe Danielle Steele has a clone in order that she writes all these books. It's like, what is it, Shakespeare and Ben Jonson and all these other authors that they think are the same guy. I mean, not that Danielle steals any Shakespeare, because technically the way she strings words together isn't that great, but I'm not going to even get into that criticism too much. But the stories are great. And maybe they're made by bots to make them so suspenseful, to make them sort of foment the 100 monkey enthusiasm that we all have for these books. But that aside, I went on Facebook and I even found some residual evidence from some of my friends, no less. My friend Jim's hilarious. He goes, Osama faked his death so he could continue to write romance novels under the nom de plume Danielle Steele. Who knew? Who knew that they were basically clones? I would recognize them for each other and mistake them for each other everywhere. And then my friend Matt write, ready for a major game change when I embark on Matt as Danielle Steele. And then somebody who's not my friend wrote not as good of a status update because they're not my friend. Just like the heroine in a Frigwicken. I almost said Frigwicken. Hey, that's a good word make-upage. Frigwicken. Just like a heroine in a Frigwicken Harlequin romance or Danielle Steele novel. So, I basically stumbled on the Danielle Steele thing from trying to watch Grand Hotel, not being into it, thinking how much better Danielle Steele books were, realizing that Danielle Steele is not spelled Steele, it's spelled Steele, S-T-E-L-E, well, S-T-E-L as opposed to S-T-E-L-E, which kind of makes sense because her heroines are kind of steel-like. They steel themselves and they have steel-like wills. But that being said, it also got me thinking of Goddess of Vengeance by Jackie Collins. And it's the Lucky Santangelo series. That's the name of the heroine. And she's got long hair, tons of jewelry, just like this flowing goddess that we all associate with these page-turning chick flick novels. But that said, it's an entire series. So I read one of the first books, and this woman has a will of fire. Like, she really is pretty badass, and she gets shit done, and it's amazing. And oh wow, that's only $3.74. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go buy that. No, actually, I already have a copy of that. But regardless, this is the book cover. Oh no, let me get a better one. Oh yeah, so this is the book cover that I always remember, and it's about Lucky Santangelo. She's like this movie mogul. She's like this businesswoman basically, and she owns all these businesses, and she just bought a movie studio, and her husband Lenny is the stand-up comedian and a writer and so on and so forth. So I read the book when her kids are younger, and then I read later Goddess of Vengeance, and this is where things kind of start to branch off for me. Not because I remember it being different than it was, not because I read it twice and I remember it differently than it was, but there's this villain in the book named Armand Jordan. I know it sounds like Armand Jordan. Armand Jordan. And he basically treats women like trash. He treats them like sex objects or baby makers, although mostly he's just interested in having sex and doing drugs with them. And he wants to buy one of her properties called the Keys. And no one ever says no to this guy. Like, this guy's a millionaire, and he's half Middle Eastern prince, although he lives in America, but his dad has a harem, and whenever he goes home he gets sex with whoever he wants, and so on and so forth. So he's just a real jackass, and he has one standoff with Lucky, and that's her telling him she can't buy the hotel. But at the end of the book, and this is a spoiler alert, so if you guys are wanting to read this book, I'm just telling you this is a spoiler alert. He ends up dying. And he basically just dies in a hotel room with two hookers doing cocaine from a bowel blockage or a stomach blockage. And by the time Lucky gets there, he's already dead. Now, does that sound like a goddess of vengeance to you? Does that sound like a goddess actually got any revenge? No. That's just like the guy got sick before they could have their standoff. So I kind of always felt like this book was meant for them to have a standoff in a parallel reality, or it's some reality that I can't get to, and I want to read that book in that reality because it sounds so much better in the title, just even by way of the title, than it was in the book. So I guess what I want to ask you guys is, Have you ever read a book that you remember it a different way, that you remember the author's name a different way, or that you feel like the title does not line up with the actual plot? Because I'm telling you, this book is so much lamer in this reality. It could have been so good with them having a standoff. But anyway, that's all I wanted to bring up. And that's about it. Peace out.